Hi, I'm Amy.
And I'm Kirsty, and this is our podcast, Love Needs No Words.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Love Needs No Words. Joining us today is Roselee Guinness. Roselee is a carer to Frankie who has Rett syndrome, is non-verbal and a wheelchair user. Through her experience of working alongside her now best friend, she's written 3 fictional books about the two of them. It's also Rett Syndrome Awareness Month, so we've timed this really well. Rosie, so lovely to have you on to talk to us.
Thank you so much for having me.
First of all, it's such a wonderful and inspiring story. So could you start by telling us a bit about your experience as a carer and also just working alongside the lovely Frankie?
Yeah, so I met Frankie nearly 7 years ago. I'd never heard of Rett syndrome. I'd never done any care before. And I was in a kind of stage of my life where I was just looking for a job, but I wasn't sure what I was wanted to do. So I saw an advert that Frankie's mum had posted online looking for some help. So I came and met the family and I said to them, like, I'm not sure how long I will be here. Like, I can help maybe while you look for someone else. I've never, I don't have any experience. I'm not sure if I am who you need. And just immediately, me and Frankie, we got on so well. And then I just stayed. And yeah, nearly 7 years later, we have the most incredible friendship. When everyone meets us straight away, even right at the beginning, everyone thought we were sisters. Because how well our bond is, the way we connect and like look at each other, like everyone can see straight away how much we're in love, like as best.
Aww, that's really lovely.
Yes.
That's so nice. I think anyone that visits your Instagram page can instantly see the bond that you two have. It's really beautiful. Yeah, I suppose I was really intrigued to find out, because obviously you said you had no care experience, so I guess no expectations going into the relationship.
Yeah.
Did you expect such a firm friendship to take hold with you and Frankie, or did it totally take you by surprise?
Literally complete surprise, because, well, going into, I came into their family home, so I tried to be, a professional and a professional worker to start with. But then I just, not that being a professional, sorry, but then I kind of changed my caring role to the sense of, so like I treat Frankie like a little sister, not a client, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, it literally took me by complete surprise, and I think that's as well why I didn't leave. I didn't need to go and then find another job or find something else to do, find who I was, because I stayed, and Frankie is my personality now. She is completely like, I don't know who I would be as a person or anything now without her or her family.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And yeah, for people listening, to have someone to come into your life to help with your child when they've got something like Rett syndrome or any disability, and to love them as much as you do, honestly, I can just imagine how much the family appreciate all that you do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But, so Frankie's got Rett syndrome, which means that she's a wheelchair user. She's also non-verbal. But can you just talk a bit about what Rett syndrome is, and also how does that affect sort of daily life for her, and also what you need to do to ensure that each day she's happy and content?
Yeah, so Rett syndrome is, yes, a really rare, unique condition, and it's caused by the X chromosome, and that when there's not enough protein, and also a lot of girls also can be wrongly diagnosed as maybe like non-verbal autistic, or maybe just global development delay to start with. Some girls can be diagnosed really early on, maybe from 2 years old, whereas there has now been, we found cases that there's been a 14-year-old that's only just been diagnosed. When Frankie was little, she would, she played at the park with her brother and she was able to speak. And then as she has just grown and developed, she's also declined loads. So now she is completely non-verbal, complete wheelchair user. But we really still try our absolute best to give her the best life possible. And I think that was also some of the reason behind the books. We put every day, and we treat her family have done the best, absolute amazing job of treating her like an absolute princess. Like, she generally believes that, she is an amazing princess, and she has we have her chair lift goes up and down the stairs, and we call her princess chair. But she does need help. She needs 24-hour care. She does need help with personal care, with every single thing, eating, drinking, 24-hour care throughout her life. And she will only carry on declining and declining. Even so, for example, 7 years ago, when I met Frankie, we could go and watch a football match, and she would walk around the pitch, and she would carry on walking around the whole pitch for the 2 hours. Whereas now she is in her wheelchair.
What's that like for you? Because obviously you've highlighted that you're her friend now. So what's it like seeing that kind of decline in her?
It has been heartbreaking. It's been and challenging for her, knowing what we was able to do, and before some of the activities we would do has become harder, like trampolining, for example. She used to love trampolining, and we'd go to theme parks, and she would be able to easily, with help, get on and off the rides. But now, we go swimming, and we go bowling, but we just have to use more equipment. We put more equipment in place so she absolutely loves swimming, because that's kind of the one activity that she feels she can do. So we put her armbands on her, the lifeguards use the hoist and put her down into the pool, and she'll splash around, and we try and do swimming as much as we can, because that is the one activity she believes she can really do. But yeah, it is challenging, and Frankie we went through a stage where she struggled herself with mental health, where when she fully lost her voice. So we do try to pick her up, spiritually and mentally, as much as we can, and entertain her. She loves to be sang to and entertained as well.
Oh, it's so lovely and inspiring. But so my son Alex, he's got limited speech, and I find it's all about, we talked about it many times, about getting into their world and learning ways to communicate with them, not just verbally. So how have you kind of learnt to do that? And do you feel like there's a connection between you because you just kind of get her?
Yes, no, definitely. I feel like you definitely you need to understand her. We do have people that don't know how to speak to her will speak about Frankie in front of her. Some people fully don't understand, but we really do try and give still Frankie as many choices as possible, and we'll so she still has a voice. That will put food in front of her and give her a choice what she wants to eat, and with clothes we'll give her a couple t-shirts in front of her so she can point. She does a lot of pointing, like that's her main communication. She believes that we're all psychic, so as soon as she points we know what she wants. But I think the people that know Frankie and love her and care about her so much know what she wants and needs, if that makes sense. Like, you know, and like she can look at us. She has so many facial expressions. She speaks through her facial expressions and her body language. And the people that love and care and know her, we know every single facial expression, body language, what she needs, what she, you know, if she's in pain, if she's happy. We know all that through her body language and that is how we communicate with her.
On facial expressions, for anybody who's listening and can't see Roselee, every time she talks about something that obviously one of the joys in the relationship with Frankie, she's just literally beaming. You literally light up when you talk about her. It's so beautiful. So because of obviously the experience that you've had with Frankie and the journey that you've been on together, you decided to write all about the adventures that you've had in a book. So how did that come about?
So the first one, I didn't even mean for it to be a book. I started just kind of writing maybe a poem. I was trying to maybe just do a gift for Frankie, like write her a poem or something. And then once I had written it, I thought I would just test my luck. And I was like, oh, maybe it could be a book. So I just sent it off to some publishers, and I got loads of no's, and then loads of publishers as well. I didn't get a reply. And then this one publisher, Austin Macaulay, emailed me and said, like, yes, it's so nice.
Brilliant.
And then it just went from there. And then I thought, oh, I could carry on writing. So the first book, is actually explains a little bit more like just about Frankie, that she uses an eye gaze, which is like an iPad, and she can look at it, and then it says, so she could look at like we would put it on the food section, for example, and she could look at pasta, and then we'd say, like, oh, do you want pasta for dinner? And it explains like what a wheelchair is, and it just explains like she likes swimming, going to the park. And then I thought, because loads of our family and friends absolutely loved the book, then I thought, oh, you know, I'll try and write a second one, then a third one. And now my aim is just to carry on writing and try and build up a massive collection of these stories. But the second book is actually based on a true story of me and Frankie. About 5 years ago, we went on holiday. The two of us, we met some friends on holiday, but we actually went, the two of us, to a holiday resort. And Frankie everything that happened in the book happened in real life. So she fell in the sea, and it's a funny storybook actually that explains that accidents do happen as well. And it's nice. And then the third book is based on, because Frankie loves her swimming, it's to try and show that she has this amazing magical power and she can still do what she really wants to do.
That's amazing. And you touched on it a bit there, but for those that don't know, you've based the characters on you both, haven't you? And what are the names of the characters?
Yes, so the two characters in the book are Doodle and Rosie, which is after Frankie. Frankie's nickname is Doodle, and my nickname is Rosie. So the two characters in the book are Doodle and Rosie, and Doodle's magic wheelchair.
That's brilliant. And you made the local paper recently, didn't you? And you said there might be a fourth book as well. Yes.
So I've written the fourth book, and it's in the process now with my publisher, being made. We're emailing back and forth about the images and going forward with the fourth one.
And what would you say is the sort of message that you're trying to portray through all of your books, really?
I just a few messages. We really still want to raise awareness of Rett syndrome, because a lot of people, and I had never heard of it either before I'd met Frankie, hadn't heard of Rett syndrome, but also just for children and adults, reading it to children about that we're still all the same. We're still, if you're in a wheelchair or not in a wheelchair, if you've got any sort of disability or not disability, we're all the same. And children are all the same. Children, a non-wheelchair user would want to play with a wheelchair user. And it doesn't matter if we have a label or not. And all children love reading, hopefully. So yeah, I just want to try and inspire more children to read, but also just to learn that we are all the same, and and like your podcast call, everyone needs love. And and it doesn't need words, like Frankie, she doesn't need words actually to succeed.
Yeah. And I think it's great for children as well to learn through stories, because like you said, they love to read and to listen to stories. And I think it's a great way, especially when you've got pictures, to help educate and share with them, like you were saying, because not everyone will have heard of Rett syndrome, like not everyone will have heard of lots and lots and lots of different disabilities, but actually the core message is the same, isn't it? Just interact with these children. Don't be afraid to speak to them, or just get involved, because they want you in their world and you want to be part of their world.
Yes, Frankie used to have, she currently doesn't because we had to change her wheels, but she used to have on her wheels, she used to have these wheel guards. They were purple, the picture of a cow, and like a cartoon cow. And then like children would come over to us and say like, "Oh, I like your wheels, I like your wheelchair." And some parents would say, "Oh, sorry," and we would say, "No, actually, that's really nice." Like that, and actually we encouraged that, because all children you're actually being really nice, saying, just like we would say, "Oh, I love your jacket."
Yeah.
Same thing. Frankie's wheels are her legs. So it's really nice actually for children to come over and say, "Oh, I really like your wheelchair."
It makes her feel seen, and it's also and it's about like getting into their world, because I have it with Alex where it's sort of teaching other children. Well, some children are amazing, but it's just saying, look, get into his world, and as soon as you get into his world, you'll get so much back. Just look at the way he's gesturing, or look at the way he's staring at you. Just kind of get a sense of what he wants. And as soon as you see people do that, you're like, right, they're in his world now. And it's the same thing. It's like, don't be afraid to just come over and acknowledge. And I bet it's so lovely when they do that.
Yeah, no, fully. It's like when we're walking along and we say, "Oh, good morning, good afternoon" to strangers. It's the same. Like Frankie absolutely loves people. She's a really, really massive people, social person. And it makes her day when someone is just, a stranger is just nice and says, "Oh, hello." Yeah, and a child, "Oh, I really like your wheels. Hello." Like it's lovely. And then also the children are learning about what a wheelchair is. Maybe some children have never been in an experience where they have been around maybe a child or even an adult with a disability. So also everyone needs to learn. It's every day. We're still every day we might learn something new about Frankie, or she'll learn something new about us. Every single day is a big learning day.
Yeah, the sort of teaching element of it and the education piece is really important. I'm really intrigued to know. So we get a lot of opportunity to speak to lots of different people who are either parents to children with additional needs, or maybe work alongside children, or are carers in your instance. And I think the common theme that goes across them all is that actually we learned so much and they can teach us so much. What would you say Frankie's taught you?
Everything. I think probably probably one of my biggest things, mainly just to be just grateful for everything. I think it's so easy, isn't it? Especially maybe as an adult, to go through being self-conscious and like, you know, have anxiety and things. And I think just Frankie's now so comfortable in her skin that she gives me then confidence as well to love myself more. And I'll go in the morning and my hair will be a mess, and she'll look at me and laugh, and I'll be like, I'll go sort my hair out. You know? And then when I look really nice, if I'm dressed up to go somewhere, she'll look at me differently and she'll proper smile, and I'll say, oh, do I look nice? And, you know, she'll smile and say yes in her smile. So she's, given me so much confidence to love myself so much more as well than I did before. So that is, I'm so, just so grateful for everything. But she's taught me so much just about life.
What's her personality like?
She's a massive fashion princess as well. 90% of my outfits I borrowed from her wardrobe. Most mornings or afternoons I'll go in, so please can I borrow this jumper? And she'll look at me laugh.
I was going to say, how does she feel about this? You're stealing all her clothes.
And she's a proper pink girly girl. She has a bow. Her big fashion accessory is a big massive bow in her hair, and she has one to go with every single outfit. She has every single coloured bow, she's got the biggest wardrobe. She wears a different outfit, like glittery or sparkly, bright coloured outfit every day. And it's amazing how everyone comments on how pretty and gorgeous she looks every day. And just everyone falls in love with her. She's literally, the town we live in, she's literally like the queen. We can't leave the house. I'm not even joking. We can't leave the house without someone saying, oh, hi, Frankie. Nice to see you. And like, then even when I'm not with her, I'll be walking along alone and someone will be like, oh, how's Frankie? And I'll be like, oh, yeah, I'm fine as well, Frank.
Your identities are so tied up in each other.
Yeah. She's just got the absolute biggest smile as well, the biggest personality. And like, you can't, when you meet her, you can't not immediately fall in love with her. But also she is so caring as well. She's so, you know, if I say I have a headache and I say, you know, could we just maybe have a lazy day today? Can we just watch TV? I'll go and lay on her bed and she'll like stroke my hair and try and make me feel better. Like, she's also so caring as well. She has got the most caring, lovely, bubbly, best sense of humour, awful humour as well.
Do you know what? We've spoken to a few people on this podcast whose children have, various different disabilities. And the common message that comes across is that these children are infectious.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is what I'm learning through this and through speaking to different people, how much actually these children have to offer and how much like sunshine they are in people's lives.
Yes, no, fully. I think this is the whole point as well, that you need to get to know people, because maybe someone might see me and Frankie walking along and that someone might just see a teenage girl sat in a wheelchair. Let's ignore them and walk along. But until you, even if just say hello and you'll fall in love with her. Like, she has just got so much to offer without her words.
You've got just such a wonderful relationship, and it must be really hard for her feeling like, you know, at one time she could speak and now she can't, like all those emotions that she's dealing with, and having you from the start of the journey to now. I can only imagine what that means to her to have you in her life. Do you feel like you've had quite a part to play? Do you feel like she feels like you're an important part to her life too?
Yeah, I really do think so. And I really do also believe that she does fully love me like the annoying big sister. She does have to put up with me, borrowing her clothes or...
I was going to say, taking all her clothes.
Yeah. Yeah. Even this morning, for example, sometimes I stay overnight because I'm that annoying. Like, I'm a piece of furniture now, like part of the family, so I'll stay for sleepover in the spare room. And this morning, her mum and dad walked her into my bedroom and knocked on the door, and so she could wake me up. So she found it so funny that I'm not doing my job properly. She's had to come and get me up. So yeah, she found that so funny. So yeah, I really do. And I think sometimes I feel like I say like, oh, I've been silly again, and she proper laughs. Like she has to put up with my annoyingness and things. But yeah, I do. I think it's a mutual like love, like the friendship and the bond we have is equal.
Are you a full-time carer now? So are you there all day, every day, or?
Yes and no. So Frankie has just finished school. She finished school in July. Mm-hmm. So I when she was at school, I would come over in the afternoons and then try and see her as much as I could, like at the weekends, in the school holidays. And now we're just waiting for, hopefully Frankie's going to go to maybe a residential college, but we're just waiting for the funding to come through. Mm-hmm. And so at the minute, with me and with some other help, we've had some really, really nice family friends that have been trying to help. Because Frankie, just for safety and everyone's safety, Frankie is now a 2-to-1. So like when we leave the house, we always go 2 people with Frankie. So be me and a friend, or me, and a family friend, or me and mum, me and dad will go out, try and go swimming and things for safety. So yes and no to being a full-time carer.
And have you read the books to her? What does she think?
Yeah, she absolutely loves them. So her favourite is the mermaid book, the third one, where she turns into a mermaid. So yeah, that's fully her favourite book. And then I've read her quite a few times the fourth book that isn't out yet, but I've read her the script on the laptop, and she finds that so funny because at the end she saves the day. So it's
Does she really resonate that the character's her?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So Frankie absolutely still loves books. Like we could sit on her bed for hours and hours reading all children's books. She's got every Percy the Park Keeper book that has ever been.
Percy the Park Keeper. Yeah, got great taste.
Yeah, she absolutely loves books anyway. So then having a book about her has just been the best thing ever as well.
It must solidify that feeling that she's a princess.
Yes, no, definitely. Yeah, no, definitely, because now she's famous, so she wasn't just a princess, she's a famous princess.
She is. What do her parents make of the books as well?
Yeah, they're so happy. They're so incredible. They're literally the the mum and dad that I had never had. Like that's why I stay here a lot. Like they are absolutely like my family as well. So they're so proud of me, and it's just the whole thing is just absolutely incredible.
It's so beautiful when you talk about it. I don't know if this is accurate, but I wonder if sometimes people see the carer and person they're caring for relationship as almost being one way, where you're giving so much but not necessarily getting anything in return. And I think what you've highlighted is that is absolutely not the case. It's really mutual, and you are, you're both gaining from that relationship that you have.
Well, a lot of people aren't as lucky to have people like you either.
Yes, that's also true.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, fully, because I have had, a lot of people saying, like, oh, you do a great job. Oh, you work hard, you do a great job. And I say back that, but it's not a job. I feel like I'm not working hard. Like, I'm literally hanging out and with my best friend every day. Like, it's not a job. It's not, yes, sometimes there may be challenges and it's not all rainbows and sparkles, but most of the time it is amazing. And I am literally with my best friend every day. I couldn't ask for a better job. And I think that's why I've never left either, because I don't know how I'm going to cope when Frankie goes to college, and I'm going to have to find something else to do.
So what does her college look like if that's obviously what happens for her? How many weeks will she be away in the year?
So hopefully it's a 52-week placement, but then she can come home whenever she wants to, like at weekends or all the holidays. She can come back whenever she wants to, or like if there's a family event or something happening, like mum and dad can ring and say, oh, please can Frankie come home this weekend for this celebration. So they are so nice. We've gone and viewed the college a few times. Like Frankie's looked around, she's seen a potential bedroom, and everyone is so nice. Everyone's so excited for her to go. So we're just waiting on start date now.
Oh, that'll be a real evolution of your relationship as well, and your friendship. Like you say, that'll change things, but not necessarily, for the worse. It'll just be a bit different, perhaps, and maybe a topic for another book.
Yes, yeah. And it's only it's about an hour drive from where we live, so we can visit her as much as we want to. But they do a lot of the they say that everyone can come home when they want, but they do find a lot of the students don't want to come home because they're having too much fun.
Well, that's a great sign, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, and it will be so amazing for Frankie to flourish, and just for her whole
independence.
Her independence, making new friends, and actually being with a few like peers her exact age, and making new friends like we all would.
Yeah. Finally, can you just reiterate the names of your books for any listeners who are thinking, I'd love to read or buy that book?
So the first original book is called My Doodle is a Little Different, which just explains a little bit more about her wheelchair, her eye gaze, who she is. The second book is called My Doodle Goes on Holiday, which is the one that's based on the true story. The third book is called My Doodle Turns into a Mermaid, which hence the title. I need to think about that for the future. But we're all, every day is a school day, so I'm learning as well as I've grown as an author, my books have got slightly better, and I'm learning loads as well about how to even be an author, how to write. So I'm learning loads as well. So, and then so the series title is My Doodle's book. So all the books will have My Doodle something. But I have my social media, and also a lot of bookshops now, even like Waterstones, WH Smith, and they're all online, and Austin Macaulay website, my website, my social media, where you can purchase the books.
And what's your social media name on Instagram and Facebook?
So on Instagram and Facebook, it's called My Doodles Books. But if you just type in on the Google search engine, Roselee Guinness, straight away loads of more information will come up. My website comes up. My publisher's information comes up.
Well, I just wanted to say, you mentioned, I don't know what I'll do when Frankie goes off to college, but I think you've forged a path for yourself already. You just said it, you're an author as well. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing your beautiful friendship and relationship that you have with Frankie.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me and letting me speak about Frankie.